one of the things I want to reflect on is something that's maybe obvious, but it's something that it's really important for us to think about the importance of collaboration. And if you're collaborating in something that's bigger than you, then you're probably operating in something that is considered a small pie of that. But there is enough for all of us to eat. That's for sure. The pie is big enough, right? For all of us to have a slice. One of the things I want to reflect on is the importance of the size of that pie, because if you start playing in bigger rooms and bigger spaces, that small piece of the pie is no different than, call them, love them or hate them or whatever. There's a lot of operators out there, like if you think of Amazon and Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk of Tesla, they've given all their shares away essentially, which means that they've given a majority of their company away to scale and grow. But they own a little bit of it, and that little bit of it is worth billions.
Who's this? Oh, you're an entrepreneur? Oh, you're a real estate investor. Oh, you're trying to learn from those who did it. Well, come into the lab then. Put your white coat on, gloves on, notepad, and let's build, y'all.
Experiment Nation, thank you for joining and tuning into another episode. If you're listening to this, thank you for listening. If you're watching this, first of all, huge thank you. We just hit a huge milestone, 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. So thank you so much for pouring into us. I appreciate that you're pouring in, because we're pouring in to you. My goal is to get as many operators educated in this temporary housing space, because in the last video I recorded just now coming off the studio is we need to stop competing and instead start collaborating. So my gift to you is to share as much free insight as possible as I can. And for those of you who don't want the learning to stop, I obviously have paid programs, challenges that I run every other month. There is one this month, depending on when you're tuning into this, that's happening always. So make sure you go to experimentrealestate.com/challenge. But most importantly, for those who tune in on YouTube, thank you so much to the YouTubeosphere for tuning in. The best way that you can pay is with your attention, and so I do not take that lightly. So thank you so much for all the subscribers. We're just getting warmed up, y'all. So warm that we're going to the warm side. Depending on when you're listening to this, we're headed to San Diego for an in-person event. As I love my in-person retreats, I believe that there is power in proximity. That's how I've always learned the best. That's how I've fostered the deepest relationships. That's how you actually 10x your relationships, by being in person. Virtual is one thing. It's gone far, but coming in person, shaking hands, and seeing people doing the thing that you're doing, the thing that you want to do, having people like you who look like you, who may look different than you, who may look, I don't know, for Christ's sakes, worse than you, or let's put it this way, who have less, I love the quote that says that someone else out there won with less than you had, or with they were in a worse place than you were in and they still won. What's your excuse, right? And so seeing that, I think it matters for what it's worth. And so we're in San Diego. Depending on the time you're watching this, it'll be experimentrealestate.com/school. That's SCHOOL. That's school. We're doing a School Hard Knocks event. Vivian, Yip, and I, we co-hosted it last year, completely sold out. So this year we got a bigger venue, and it's most likely we will be selling that out as well. So make sure you go and get ahead and get your tickets. We're already sold out of the VIPs. So it's something special about being in person. And if you're already in town for the Jesse Vasquez Midterm Mental Meetup, then you definitely want to swing by to our meetup. We're gonna have some amazing speakers. From the likes of, just looking at the roster here, we got Tanisha Spencer, we got Noble Crawford, we got Walter Duffy, we got Mercedes Sanchez, and the one and only Elaine Quiros, right? So these are high level operators that you get to network with, shake the hands, take pictures, connect. Most importantly, connect, because it is important for us to start thinking abundance and collaborating. There is no scarcity out here, especially in this space. This is one of the most rewarding businesses. Any big business, actually, business to business, instead of going to business consumer, that's competing. Business to business, it's collaboration. We want to be in the business to business space, and that's where we're meeting with these operators, right? So with that said, one of the things I want to reflect on is something that's maybe obvious, but it's something that it's really important for us to think about the importance of you know uh collaboration. And if you're collaborating in something that's bigger than you, then you're probably operating in something that is you would be considered a small pie of that. uh but there is enough for all of us to eat, that's for sure. The pie is big enough, right, for all the stuff that have a slice. So, uh, one of the things I want to reflect on is the importance of the size of that pie, because if you start playing in bigger rooms and bigger spaces, that small piece of the pie is no different than, call them, love them or hate them or whatever. There's a lot of operators out there, like if you think of Amazon and Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk of Tesla, they've given all their shares away essentially, which means they've given a majority of their company away to scale and grow. But they own a little bit of it, and that little bit of it is worth billions, right? So for you, I mean, I recently had kind of the same thought process of like, how do we actually grow our network when it comes to temporary housing, and etc. And I got some stuff I'm working on behind the scenes that I'll share the receipts when the receipts are out. But it's about having a smaller piece of a larger pie. How do we get more people to be bought into our infrastructure? Just hiring folks, growing the team behind the scenes, and creating an incentive that everybody has basically skin in the game. And I love that.
Experiment Nation, you've heard me talk about how multiple investors across the nation are landing these lucrative midterm rental insurance contracts by making these small tweaks on the branding and marketing side. Especially if you're an existing short-term rental operator, there is a quick and easy shift that you can make with the ride guide in place. And because we've launched a 2-day boot camp that not everyone could attend in real time, I've put together a recording where you can get all the materials and all the guides to focus on rebranding either your short-term rental business or your current midterm rental business, so that you can actually have the insurance companies reach out to you. And then day 2 is if you want to actually play offense, how you can reach out to them by listing on the right platforms, etc. If you're looking to get this MTR bootcamp so that you can start optimizing and you can start receiving these lucrative contracts that again provide less headaches, less turnovers, unlike the Airbnb space, you can start receiving inquiries today by having the right guide in place. So please go to experimentrealestate.com/MTR bootcamp or click the link in the bio to make sure you get your hands on this midterm rental insurance bootcamp to fast track your way into landing these lucrative insurance contracts the exact same ways multiple investors have taken advantage of this unknown and untapped niche within the midterm rental umbrella.
And it's if you can kind of switch your paradigm, that's probably the next thing, is like, where are areas where I'm thinking too small because I want to have a large piece of a very small pie rather than having a small piece of a very large pie. If money is a driver for you, there's a lot more money you can make by having a smaller piece of a larger pie. If fulfillment is what drives you, and you have a larger impact, a way larger positive impact by having a small piece of the pie and getting the right folks engaged. So just whatever it is that drives you, I just want to challenge whatever thinking you might currently have as to, how do I set up an infrastructure where we can actually go bigger, if that's what matters to you, because bigger isn't always better. I think sometimes we think that by nature here, being here in America or whatever, there's the whole like, hey, like we got to grow the business, grow, and you're like not even thinking of like why you're doing it in the first place. And that's why I love the balance of, hey, like, why am I doing what I'm doing? What is the goal here? What is my goal? What's important for me? I was on a webinar yesterday, and make sure you tap in because there's a free master classes that I host all the time. So if you haven't, subscribed to this channel, do subscribe and then grab your MTR insurance blueprint, because once you're on my email list, you'll know when I'm doing these free webinars, free pop-ups, because again, I want to educate as many homeowners as possible. And what I even bring this up, because, I do a lot of these webinars, and I'll ask the question like, "Hey, why do you want to do this?" I'm like, "To help people, etc." I'm like, "Dude, it's okay to be selfish." I think there's also this whole thing about, "Oh, let's be selfless." I'm like, no. What do you want? What is the number you want to make? How much money do you want to make? Define that. Great. How do we get there? And of course, by default, you're not scamming anybody. The universe will reward you for doing good work. You get paid in proportion to the lives that you impact and the good work that you do in the marketplace. So if that's something of a driver, you don't need to feel bad for it, because if there's a number that you're trying to get to, you're not going to con your way to millions. Like, people might, right? And they don't last very long, right? The yeah, when the tide is lower, we'll see who's swimming naked is an expression that I love. It's like, you'll find out. But if you're actually trying to do good, there's nothing with putting a monetary number, because no one else, I think one of my mentors says this, right? It's people exchange money when they believe that the reward on the other side is worth more than the money that they're going to pay and exchange you for it. So you're not tricking anybody here, right? Like, you're not going to like trick your way to, this is my number. You don't have to feel bad. Name your number. What is the goal? Define the goal, because often people don't define that goal. And that's the worst thing you can do, is not being able to define a goal. Define your goal. Make sure you're on the same page. You're in alignment with that goal. And once you've defined that goal, go get it and start thinking, where can I make my piece of the pie smaller and theirs larger, so we impact something bigger, and the pie is just massive pie, not a small pie, but a big pie, if that's what matters to you. And if not, maybe it's the opposite. But it's good for you to actually start thinking about that. Do I actually want a smaller piece of a larger pie, or do I want a larger piece of a smaller pie? And maybe that's the question. Maybe it's not. Maybe for me, my paradigm is, hey, can I go smaller? That's my key takeaway. Maybe yours is the other way around. How do we trim the fat and get rid of people? But at the end of the day, as we're going into Q2, it's always important that we're clear on what we optimize for and what the goal is. Remove our egos, remove our, it's not about grow if that doesn't align with where you're trying to go. But where are you going, right? What is the goal? And does it actually make sense to trim the fat or go in the other direction and add some muscle? So with that, I want to just leave you that. I want to just little tidbits of knowledge. Some of these are shorter than often. I'm going to just drop you some insights, drop you something, a seed to plant in your mind. And it's your duty and obligation to go ahead and water that plant. All I can do is plant the seed. And with that, hopefully you will proceed in any of the endeavors that you're focusing on. And I trust that you will. And if you're not clear, just go ahead and find yourself a guide or mentor that's headed in the direction that you want to go into. I can't stress that enough. Someone was asking him, like, how many mentors do you have? Whatever direction I'm trying to go into, I have a mentor. I have a mentor for financing. I have a mentor for spirit. I have a mentor for, real estate. I have a mentor for credit. Like, I have a mentor for things I want to go into, because I know it'll expedite my process, and more importantly, it'll bring me in proximity with the individuals that are in those rooms that are already doing the thing that I'm trying to do. And if your thing is trying to land these temporary housing contracts nationwide at a premium, then make sure you tap in. You're already tapped in. If you're watching this, hit the subscribe button, grab the Midterm Rental Insurance Blueprint. But most importantly, start with a challenge. Challenge proximity. It's virtual. We sit in a room for 2 days virtually, wherever from the comforts of your home. We get in, we learn where to land, or where to list our properties, how to optimize, how we should be speaking to these other companies, how we can get our properties booked, what kind of properties work, what is the language, everything. What is the marketing? What is the branding? There's a difference between marketing and branding. Branding is what people say when you're not in the room, and marketing is how you actually want the marketplace to recognize you. And we need to be doing both. That is both. And there's specific places where we need to go, and that is what we teach. And we've gotten amazing results. In the last 2 challenges, we had folks who actually closed contracts, closed on properties, took action. And there's a reason why there's kind of an unblock and an unlock. And usually there's information on the other side that you don't have, right? So with that said, if that's you want to join our challenge, make sure you go to experimentrealestate.com/challenge. I host them every other month. And so whatever date you see on there is the next one. depending on the time that you're listening to this, but do not let information get in the way of your goals and dreams. And make sure that you're aligning with the people who are already headed in the direction of your goals and dreams, because soon along the way, you'll find and you'll most likely be in a position where there's an opportunity to collaborate. Stop competing, start collaborating, and start serving the marketplace. The marketplace will not fail you. If you have a good product and a good service, you will be rewarded by law. With that said, Experimentation, let's go serve some families, shall we? Let's build.
Experimentation, I believe there are two critical components that will help you achieve your goals very quickly and succeed. Number one, it's information like this that you received on a show, in an episode, and content that you can find on my YouTube channel or anybody's channel. And then there's a community. And the way we've been able to expedite our process, the way people in our community, who are people that we consult, mastermind members, whoever, they get the information on an episode like this, but then they also have a support, whether it's me guiding them or being guided through a community. There is an opportunity for you listening to be able to expedite your process or even expedite your results that you're seeking by being part of the community. If that is what you're interested in, we at Experiment Nation happen to have a community devoted to helping maximize your occupancy and your profitability altogether, regardless of which market that you are in. And for that reason, you have an opportunity where you can go to experimentrealestate.com/submit if you're looking to work in an environment that can help you prosper faster. Call out any areas that you might not be familiar in, especially the blind spots. That's where a guide comes in hand, and I would be a pleasure and honor to be your guide. But in order to make sure you're a good fit, make sure you go to experimentrealestate.com/submit so that my team can go ahead and take it and see if you're a good fit to join the mastermind and the multiple programs that we have. In addition to that, I'm also now a YouTube partner, which means that I want to give you more access to information, more access to Q&As, more access to the questions that actually come out of our mastermind to help people expedite the process. We've seen people get anywhere from $4,000 to $5,000 to $6,000 to even $7,000 a month net on just one door by applying the strategies that we use by working with corporations and furnished accommodation in a very strategic way. So if you're interested, make sure you also subscribe, because I'm going to have different tiers that's on YouTube now that we've become YouTube partner. To continue to be the bridge to your success in your lab, and your lab means your life, your goals, or wherever you're trying to head. So make sure you also hit the subscribe button on my YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/real estate experiment. We'll be there. You can also look us up at Midterm Rental Insurance Experiment. We will be there. Make sure you hit the subscribe, because that's when you'll know the tiers that are available to you that make sense for you, your marketplace, for your results. Remember, you're only one experiment away. Let's build.